It's Lent. Oh, man. So it's Lent here in Payne County, Oklahoma.
Why are you so sad?
Because it's Lent and we're supposed to be sad.
No.
I'm fasting and there's penance. Oh.
I saw you wearing your Astros shirt the other day, so obviously
you're so mean. Stop it. You're so mean.
Yeah.
I'm giving up Father Carey being a jerk for Lent.
I am not.
Welcome to Pastors of Payne. I'm Father Brian O'Brien, pastor of St. Francis Xavier Catholic Church in Stillwater, Oklahoma. I'm here with Father Carey Wakulich,
pastor of St. John Catholic Student Center on the corner of Miller and Knobloch.
It is Lent. Lent began Ash Wednesday, smashing success.
Yay.
Lots of people. Wow, there were a lot of people. And
Free Carbon Wednesday.
This is a wonderful thing. Don't hear this as a criticism. There were a lot of people I did not recognize, and I was so glad.
And you were
not that I don't recognize them, but that they were there. The prophet Joel, return to me with all your heart. Right? Lent is a wonderful time to come back to the church. Maybe you've been away for whatever reason. Maybe because something the church did to you. Maybe because you've just been lazy. Maybe because some other reason. Mm-hmm. Maybe you just moved here and you haven't gotten into the swing of things. Whatever, right? Lent is this return to the Lord. So
why don't you do it, huh?
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. So I think we did that show a couple weeks ago and we had the question from Father Kelly Edwards and he said, do I have to be like during Lent? Do I have to lose my joy? And the answer is no. Like you can still be joyful followers of the Lord Jesus.
Yeah, what is the Gospel of Matthew when it's about fasting, prayer, and almsgiving, that section?
Yeah, do it in secret.
It says, anoint your head and, clean your face and shower and be light of the world and salt of the earth to people. Come on.
So, Father Carey...
Whoa. Don't start now. Let me take a drink out of my cup that says Saint Trainer.
In the season of Lent... The season of Lent, we are called to increased prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. Let's run people through just kind of the basics. We're specifically talking about fasting. So, what does everybody have to do?
The basics?
What's the minimum Lenten requirement? For
the
all,
minimum
for
Lenten
all
requirement is, have you ever seen that little picture of the it goes out, I send it out every year and it has this plus this equals this. It's two small meals equals a large meal. And then on Fridays, you have to eat fish or alligator apparently.
Yes.
But marsupials are meat, y'all, just in case you're in Australia, which there are listeners from Australia to our show. So
that's right.
No marsupials.
We were looking up our stats, and we got 7 downloads in Australia taking over.
We come from a land down under. Okay, anywho, so it's on Fridays, of course. On Ash Wednesday are those days of abstinence and fasting that are required by the church. But that's not much of a difference between the regular year, because we're supposed to be fasting on Fridays anyway.
Right.
So, the church throws
Lent increased.
Yeah. Then it's on Wednesday, and Ash Wednesday is you can have 2 small meals, or you can have 1 meal that equals, not more than 2 small meals. I
love really funny memes. So there's one meme, and it's this picture. I'll put it up on social media, but it's this picture of Ryan Gosling, who's this dreamy dude, and it says, "Hey girl, I'd like to take you out for a small meal that, when combined with another small meal, does not exceed your large meal." Hashtag Catholic pickup line. And then the other one is Ryan Gosling again, is looking right at you.
Ryan Gosling, is he Catholic?
No, but he's just a good looking dude. And it says, "Hey girl, we'll only be able to see each other on Sundays for the next few months. I'm giving up sweets for Lent."
Oh, stop.
So anyway, so there's that. Okay, so there's this bare minimum to fast on on Fridays.
Correct. And I love
it. Abstain from meat.
Yes.
Abstain from meat. And then Ash Wednesday, which has passed, and Good Friday, April 9th, 10th, something like that, is our days of fasting and abstinence.
Correct.
So you abstain from meat, and you also only have one regular meal.
Correct.
Instead of the normal 3 or 4 or 7, depending on who you are. Okay, but what I think we should talk about is like a deeper fasting.
Okay.
How would you define fasting? Like what exactly is it?
Okay, I'm going to give you it's an article called "Let Your Soul Breathe."
Okay, who's that by?
Yeah, it's a Byzantine Bishop Kurt. And you can just Google, Byzantine fasting, Lent. As you all may not know, you may have just picked this up. I'm a priest, not of the Latin Church, but of the Greek Ukrainian Church. Shout out Ukraine.
Do a show on that because people are so confused by that.
Shout out Ukraine converting the Russian Orthodox back to the Catholic world. Yeah. Okay, so Bishop Kurt's got the let your soul breathe, and we have this like reminder of why we fast. I was when I was living in Denver in the seminary, we would work at the Air Force Academy and do formation with guys, Catholic guys down there. And why were they fasting? There was all these guys, and it was a competition. They're like, I can fast more than you can. I can fast more than you can.
Wow.
I can fast more than you can. So there was this like fierce competition to fast, but to do it better than somebody else. But what does that mean? What does it mean to fast better than somebody else? So Bishop Kirk gives these things. He says, we fast for 3 reasons. We fast to partake of the food of paradise. Second, we fast for healing. And third, we fast to conform to the will of God.
Yeah?
Okay.
All right.
So we fast to partake of the food of paradise. Christ came to restore paradise to us, and so we eat the food of paradise in conformity with this gift he gives us. So we're fasting to partake of the food of paradise. So one of the things that we're doing when we fast is we're saying no to food, no to drink, no to these sensual, delicious things, so that we can become more cognizant, more aware of the Holy Eucharist that we're receiving.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
The food of paradise. So
that's why we specifically. So like you would say in that for that argument, like fasting from food is better than fasting from like television.
Yeah.
In
that case.
Yes.
In that case. So we're because we'll get down to like TV, Netflix, that sort of thing here in a second. So we're saying, hey, I'm fasting from this food so I can say yes to this more delicious food, this greater food, because you know what? Barbecue and Twinkies and milk, those things will all nourish my soul. You could be on a hunt like in Zombieland 1 where he's on a hunt for Twinkies, which is really funny.
I haven't seen it.
You could be like that draws you away from the food of paradise. And it also draws you away from like the greater understanding of how Jesus wants to nourish our souls with his flesh and his blood in the Holy Eucharist. So we say that.
That's a good point.
I know, it's really awesome. Okay, so the food of paradise, but also the second food of paradise, which is paradise itself. Like we're fasting so to say no to this world and its allurements and its deliciousness so we can look forward to heaven. Because when we don't look forward to heaven, we just keep our eyes on earth. And in our culture, we overconsume things. Our dumpsters are getting bigger. Our trash dumps are getting larger. Our storage facilities are getting larger. All this thing, what are we doing? We're storing up all of these things for what? For some earthly paradise?
You can't take it with you.
You can't take it with you. He who has the most crap at the end of life loses. Because what? Like, all that stuff is just weighing you down because you're more attached to these things than you are to paradise. So, yes, you're fasting from food, but you can also fast from just purchasing things. Because when you slow down your purchasing of things, you're not handing your credit card over, you're not swiping, you're not putting the chip in, and you're saying no to this big fast of food. That's one. Second, we fast for healing. Oh, I love that.
We fast for healing.
Yeah, okay. You
Okay,
ready?
tell us more.
The demons of physical and spiritual affliction can be driven out only by prayer and fasting, as Jesus indicated when the apostles asked why they could not drive out a demon from the child in Mark 9:29. We fast
Wow.
for
Yeah.
healing.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's all of us are wounded in some way.
Man.
Yeah, I know. We all have pasts that we're ashamed of, and we have, like the Astros. And so we need to,
mean.
at all times,
You're
I'm just
so
gonna,
mean.
I'm just gonna, right in there. I'm just gonna slide the Astros in there and throw.
I'm giving up you for Lent.
I'm gonna throw strikes at them every time, right in their back. Wait, that's not loving your enemy, is it?
Yeah, that's
that
not very
violated the gospel
caring.
from a couple weeks ago. Okay, that's not caring, and caring is loving. Okay, so healing. So Jesus even says that, like this. They come up to him and they say, Jesus, why couldn't we drive this demon out? And he says, this one comes from fasting and prayer. So there's this combination of the necessity of fasting and prayer. When we're removing something, we're increasing our conversation and our relationship with Jesus, with the Holy Spirit and his Father, and the communion of saints who are helping us along the way. And also, it allows things to be healed, because what we do when we don't fast, we become, what's that TV show, The Hoarders? That's people that just like take stuff in, right?
Yeah. And that's like a psychological.
Yeah. So what we do is then we hoard things. We take all this stuff in, and we actually don't see our woundedness and our brokenness because we're paying attention to all of these other things. We're paying attention to all the things we've accumulated, and we can't see our wounds, or we're just covering everything up by all this clothing we're just putting on, one layer on top of another on top of another.
Because of all the distractions and the stuff, you never get to that which is essential.
Right. And how problematic is that?
And so it's the same kind of thing, I think, almost like with noise. And that may be something even to fast from. I think you mentioned it to college students, of giving up music in the car, giving up music, so that, when normally you'd be in the car listening to music or the radio or,
right.
Talk radio, whatever, or you're exercising and you normally listen to radio, or you're walking across campus and you're listening to music. You give that up so that there's space for the Lord to work. Wow.
Yeah, because what does he do? Remember when we were in the Gospel of Mark? I love Catholic liturgy because you get a gospel. And for the first couple of weekends, what was he doing? He's just healing people.
Yeah.
But he's healing and he's driving out demons. Because when he goes to the land of the Gerasenes in Mark's gospel, and Jesus drives out those pigs, well, where are they? Where's the land of the Gerasenes? It's at the Sea of Galilee. It's in the Promised Land. And what is going on with that demoniac there? Like, until these things are driven out of him, he can't be healed. And then he can't proclaim the glory of God. He can't conform himself to the divine will.
Yeah.
So healing is it's so important to everybody. And everybody's like, people are saying, I'm all right. No, we're not. We're all broken.
You are not okay. I love the G.K. Chesterton line. Somebody asked him, what's wrong with the world? And he said, I am.
Yeah.
I am. Yeah, I need healing. We're doing our Lenten parish mission is coming up. Bishop Sam Jacobs from Houma Thibodaux, Louisiana. He's retired bishop. He's coming March 8th, 9th, and 10th. And the last night, the Tuesday, the 10th, is a healing. It's like a night on healing through the Holy Spirit.
Right on.
It's gonna slay people. It's gonna be ridiculous. Okay, so fasting helps you appreciate the Eucharist more. Fasting can lead to healing, spiritual and physical.
Right. Fasting can also let you look towards heaven, to a true paradise.
Oh.
Not paradise, but the dashboard lights. So the last one is fast to conform to the will of God. And he says, and I quote, our life of faith in Christ is to follow him. We fulfill his will for us by taking up our cross, that in dying to ourselves, we will be raised up. Fasting is the way we learn to conform our daily lives to this, his will.
Wow. What do you say to someone who's never fasted? My guess is a lot of people have never done it, or they've done the minimum. I don't eat meat on Fridays. Right. Okay.
Right. Yes.
How does one start?
Are you asking? Or
I'm asking.
Oh, I thought it was a rhetorical question.
No,
how does one start?
What advice would you give? Like what? How does one start? I mean, so it's Lent, right?
Right.
So maybe some people have started. Maybe we're already a couple days into Lent. Somebody wants to start fat.
Right.
Step one is
So I'll give you two examples. In the Latin church, there's this thing called a lot of people do called Exodus 90, and Exodus 90 actually started a couple weeks ago. But what's beautiful about it is, one, I don't do the cold showers. Cleanliness is next to holiness, and it's really hard to shower and stay clean and anoint yourself and smell good if you only get like a 3-second really cold shower, and it makes everybody's life miserable, I've heard.
Plus the screaming.
So what's good about that is that Exodus 90 begins you weeks prior to the great season of Lent, and then gets you going in the season of Lent. So I would say start. Well, you should have started a week ago. Or 2 weeks ago.
But they didn't.
They didn't. So start now. Remember, begin again. Just start.
Okay.
In the Byzantine church, they have these Sundays called Meat Fair Sunday and Cheese Fair Sundays. And those Sundays are already over, where you get rid of all your cheese and you get rid of all your dairy and you get rid of all your meat and you move them out of your house, you eat them. There's no Fat Tuesday where you just glutton everything down, like our culture has said. That's how you begin Lent. So if you're beginning fasting, I would say don't start with everything. If you have a list of things that you're going to fast from during the season, don't start them all today, because what will happen is you will not see your success.
Oh.
Start with one thing. Start with if you're going to...
Something that you eat every day, though. Something that you are going to eat regularly.
Yeah. Don't say hey, I'm giving up lobster tail.
Cauliflower pizza. Gross. Right?
Don't say, I'm giving up filet mignon. Well, you only have filet mignon twice a year. Okay, then don't start there.
Yeah, don't be a wuss.
And don't start with chocolate and sodas. Because when you take those things out of your diet, people get really cranky super fast. So one of the things I encourage people to do is, if you're going to start a fast, is maybe the first couple days is don't eat as quickly. Slow down your eating. Maybe between bites, you wait a minute. And so now you're thinking about the food you're eating rather than just shoveling it down. Eat with your knife and fork, put a bite in your mouth, and then put your knife and fork down and chew it. And so start with that, with just analyzing what you're doing. Then take something out. So maybe it's half of dinner. You look at your dinner and you say, I'm going to take half of my dinner out, and I'm not going to eat half my dinner. I'm going to go to bed slightly hungry. Or you can set a rule that says, after I have dinner, I don't eat anything else. So no dessert, no hot wings at 9:00, even if I know.
Hot wings.
Now, hot wings on a Saturday night at 9:00, or even Sunday night at 9:00. During the season of Lent, I'm not going to eat after this period. I'm going to restrict my appetite. I'm going to restrict my diet, and then I'm not going to do these things. So just to start with those things, maybe cut some of those heavy dairy things out. Just start with a few, reduce it in size, and then migrate through it.
And maybe build from there.
Yeah, I find out most people when they try to go big or go home, they end up cheating themselves like the Astros.
You're so mean.
Whoa.
You're so mean.
I'm sorry. But another thing,
mean.
you know what? One thing about fasting is don't remind people of their failures. That's what the enemy likes to do.
Yeah, I would also say too of like be careful who knows what you're giving up. Because I've found in my own life, start with me. You know, what's wrong with the world? I am. There have been times when I'm giving something up, and maybe like kind of going hard, like I'm giving something up very difficult, and I kind of want everybody to know that I'm doing that because I want them to think better of me. Like, I've gone vegan. You know,
you didn't go vegan, did you?
I did in college. I did 1 year.
Really?
Because my roommate was a cop, not a police officer, but a Coptic from Egypt. And that's what he did, and I did it with him, and it was really hard.
Yeah.
But I remember, anyway, in Lent's past, like let's say you're doing something really hard, like don't tell anyone.
Right.
Tell maybe your priest, maybe if you have a spiritual director, somebody who can maybe help you be kind of accountable. Your spouse, for example. But don't be rolling into the office like, all right, everyone, it's Lent, letting you know that I'm giving up coffee, like, and then everyone's like, "Wow, he's so holy." Right? Beware of kind of what can often be the spiritual pride that sets in,
or people
during Lent,
or people begin to hate you and hate Christianity.
Well, that's true.
Because
excuse me, can you go back to drinking coffee?
Right.
Because we all hate you.
Yeah. One thing during like Ramadan that Islam does is you fast during the day from food and water during daylight hours. So you could take something like that. I mean, that's what I think predominantly where Islam gets a lot of their prayers and fasting and their beads and stuff like that is from Christianity.
But
or
I
the
admire,
Arabian
like,
Peninsula.
if you're hardcore, like our Muslim brothers and sisters, like oftentimes will put Catholic fasting to shame.
Right.
Like they're like, they don't eat all day, and we're like, I don't eat meat on Fridays.
Like the World Cup during Ramadan?
Yeah. Akeem Olajuwon of the Houston Rockets. When he it was during the playoffs. Ramadan was during the playoffs, and he didn't eat and then played that night.
Seriously?
Yeah. But like, dang. I don't believe in Islam, obviously. There's some big theological problems there. But like, I admire that level of fidelity to what they feel like God's calling them to do. I mean, that's puts us to.
So where to begin fasting on that? I would say take out alcohol too.
Yep.
Take out alcohol.
I would say things that think about things that that you feel like you probably couldn't live without. Like what are you attached? And think food. You know, if you think to yourself like, I have to have a drink every day. Well, maybe this would be a good time to pull back on the drinking.
Yeah. So you could start with just like, I'm going to drink water all of the season of Lent.
Yep.
I 1 year I went gluten intolerant, and then because
you gave up intolerance.
I gave up intolerance. I went gluten free during Lent, and the reason why is because I used to make fun of my students who were gluten intolerant. Like I would go get pizza with them. I was like, "You want some pizza?"
You're so mean.
I know it was kind of funny. There was all these jokes going back and forth. You had to learn the word gluten intolerant in Polish because when we went there, they couldn't eat gluten.
You should give up being a jerk.
I try, and so I went without gluten for Lent. And I talked to one of my students who was gluten intolerant. And I said, the reason why I'm doing this is I want to know what it's like to be in your shoes, and it was. I'll tell you, it's tough.
I'll bet.
Like to have to say no to a lot of things. Like, no.
Things that are really good.
Things that are delicious, like fried chicken and fried fish and pizza and everything with bread in it and pastas. So when we set out for this season of Lent and fasting, you can pick like something and say, you know what? I'm going to eat my meals cold this Lent. I want to know what the poor feel like.
Ooh, yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to eat smaller portions this Lent because I want to know what those people who do not have food, I want to have the aches and the pains of the poor in this world, those who will go without. Then what does it do? It changes the way you look at the people on the street corner begging, or, when someone's walking through town and they're walking with their kids. Obviously, they don't have a car. And so it becomes more about what? It wants us to stop looking at our own earthly needs that we're satisfying ourselves with, are just satiating ourselves with, or even not even just satisfying, but like the overabundance that we become gluttons of this. Glutons.
Are you saying fasting will help lead to our conversion?
Oh, heck yeah. Don't expect a conversion without a fast.
Ooh.
Don't expect a celebration without a fast. Like we celebrate Christmas, but there's a fast before Christmas. And why have we lost such great joy of the arrival of the Messiah at Christmas? Is because we forgot about the fast during Advent. Why is it that Easter is just a dumb celebration with bunnies and Walmart and like colored eggs? Why have we lost the understanding of St. Mary Magdalene and the iconography and the eggs? And why have we lost this beauty of the great season of Easter and how to celebrate? It's because we forgot about Lent. We just think it's Ash Wednesday.
You want to go right to this. Yeah,
oh, come on.
Right to the celebration.
Hey, Father, I did Lent. I partied on Fat Tuesday. I got my ashes on Wednesday, and then I went back to normal life.
Oh. So this is an article. There's a great website, especially for men, but this will benefit everybody. Called The Catholic Gentleman. This guy's Sam Guzman. He's on the Catholic Man Show a lot. That's where I've heard him.
Who? What's his name again?
Sam Guzman. He runs a website called The Catholic Gentleman.
Okay.
Which I would recommend, especially to men.
Ooh, nice.
But I heard him on the Catholic Man Show, our friends Adam Minahan and David Niles, and their great show. Podcast, a little plug. So he has this article on called Spiritual Weapons, Fasting. This is the conclusion.
Okay.
He says this: if we neglect fasting, our spiritual life will always be mediocre. We will be weak in the combat against our passions. We will easily succumb to temptation, and we will never truly overcome our inherent selfishness and self-indulgence.
Wow.
Take that, non-fasters.
That's exactly. Read that again one more time.
I'm going to read it again.
Please.
If we neglect fasting.
Slow down. If we neglect it, if we don't do it,
fasting,
if we say fasting, not important. I don't need it. I don't do that. That's not me.
If we neglect fasting, our spiritual life will always be mediocre.
Whoa. It'll never be great. It'll just be mediocre, blah.
We will be weak in the combat against our passions.
That's the opening prayer as we begin this campaign of Christian service. The campaign is war. As we begin this war of Christian service,
we will easily succumb to temptation.
Yeah, because as we just do this all, we just eat and drink and be merry all the time. We just eventually just give in.
Give in.
Yeah.
I'm tempted. Give in.
Give in.
And we will never truly overcome our inherent selfishness and self-indulgence.
What's the word inherent mean?
Inherent, like it's part of us.
That's why I was just making sure everybody knew that.
Yeah.
Never get over that which is part of us, which is our concupiscence.
Selfishness and self-indulgence. Yep. That's where we're naturally headed. That concupiscence is that we're sort of naturally, or unnaturally, I should say, like inclined towards sin. We like to feed our passions. It's easy for us, and it's harder to resist. And so fasting is this build-up against that selfishness.
That's right.
Self-indulgence. Lent is this push. It's us pushing back with the Lord's help, obviously, pushing back against the selfishness that is.
That's it.
That is so much a part of our lives.
Start now by saying no, just like the Astros. If you say no now, then you won't be.
You're such a jerk.
Bringing it back.
We are so glad you joined us. We hope you're having a great Lent. If you're not, you should. Start now.
Begin now.
Start now. Begin again. I'm Father Brian O'Brien from St. Francis Xavier. Come see us on Sundays or during the week. We encourage everybody to go to confession sooner than later.
17 hours in the city of Stillwater.
We've got a lot of it going on. Anyway, we hope you have a great week, and we're glad you listened.
Happy Lent.